Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this lesson, I will show you how to combine radicals, which means adding and subtracting radicals. All right, let's go. We can start from this first question. Let's start with this one. Okay. The first example right here is the square root of 18 plus the square root of 8. All right, to do this, what I'm going to do here is to simplify the first radical. It would be the square root of 9 times 2. That's 18. So meaning that it will be taking the square root of 9, which is 3, and then taking the square root of 2. So that's going to be 3 square root of 2 plus. So I'm going to do for 8. I know that 8 is 4 times 2, and which means you take the square root of 4, which is 2, and take the square root of 2, which is just the square root of 2. All right, so from here, I am going to add this 2. So what I can do here is I try to replace the square root of 2 by a variable. Okay, so I will replace that square root of 2 by a variable. So which means it's now looking like I have 3 times x, yes, and 2 times x, right? So now if I add 3x plus 2x together, I get 5x. So which means my result now will be 5 square root of 2 because I replaced the square root of 2 with x. So now I get 5 square root of 2. If we had subtraction, it would be square root of 18 minus square root of 8. In that case, it will be 3 square root of 2 minus 2 square root of 2. So I have 3 square root of 2's and then 2 square root of 2. So one way to show it is that you have 1, 2, 3. 3 of them added together. So that's 3 square root of 2. And then you're subtracting 2 of them. So that's take 2 away with 1 and 2. So you're left with square root of 2. So in this case here, your result will be just square root of 2. All right, let's do another example. For this example, we'll have 6 square root of 80 minus the square root of 125. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to look at the factors of 80 and see which ones have square roots. So I'm looking for perfect squares in 80. So I'm looking at 16 times 5. 16 times 5 is 80. So I'm just going to take the square root of each piece. So I know that the square root of 16 will be 4, right? And then I know that the square root of 5 will be square root of 5, right? But then again, I still have positive 6 here that I'll have to multiply to the 4, right? So if I do that, that means I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do here is to squeeze in the 6. That's 6 times 4, right? Let's put times that, and I'm gonna subtract. I'm looking at the square root of 125. So 125 is 25 times 5. Okay, so if I wrap it up with a square root, the square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of 5 is 5. All right, so this simplifies to 24 square root of 5 minus 5 square root of 5. So from here, I can do the same strategy. Simply replace square root of 5 with x and also substitute x for square root of 5. So if I do this, now looking I'm getting 24x minus 5x, and that gives me 19x. So which means my final simplification for this result here, or this result here, will be 19 square root of 5. So let's do one final example where we have algebraic expressions or algebraic radicands. So we have 16x to the squared times y minus the square root of 4y to the 5th power. All right, so to do this problem, I'm going to decompose all the radicands into 16 x squared and y. So and then take the square root of each piece. Square root of x squared and square root of y. So minus, I'm going to do square root of 4, then square root of y to the 5th power. So this means the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of x to the squared. So the square and the square root cancel each other out, and you get y. And the square root of y will just remain there as a radical. Minus the square root of 4 is 2. And I'm going to look for the square root of y to the fifth. I know that y to the fifth is y to the fourth times y. All right, and if I take the square roots of the numbers involved, the square root of y to the fourth will be y squared. And the square root of y will just be the square root of y. So now I can see that I have something to compare. I can see the square root of y over here, and I can also see the square root of y over there. So what you can do is to factor that out to the right. Okay, let me move that. You factor the square root of y to the right and open parentheses to the left, and then you write your 4x, and then you have minus 2y squared. And this is how you would combine and simplify these radicals. All right, and I think this should be a little helpful, and I will see you in the next video.